Hey guys, it's Cosentino with Lauren Yeates on Rave It Up.
Hey guys, it's Lauren Yeates from Rave It Up here, and I'm privileged to be here today with Cosentino. How are you going today?
Hello,
Cosentino?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I really appreciate you with your busy schedule at the moment, having time to chat to us.
Pleasure.
Yeah, but I must say it's taken a while to get here. I did see you live a few years ago.
Yes.
And I've been trying to get you on the show ever since.
There you go.
So,
you said
dedication.
Off air 2013.
I think that's what we
The magic,
ended up
the
saying.
mystery, the madness tour.
Yes, and I ended up being right near the back, but it was still an awesome show.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Hopefully you watching bits and pieces on the screen, I'm assuming.
Yes, of course.
Should have got your tickets earlier.
I know. I'm sorry. And then actually, what was it, about a year or so later, I was in the airport because my dad's a pilot, and I actually saw you in the Sydney domestic terminal looking at one of those departure boards.
There you go.
Still to this day regret not coming up and introducing myself.
You should have.
But it's okay. You're
And
here
look,
now.
and now we meet. Well, we meet now.
Yeah, with a
I
proper
was going to say
chat.
we meet again, but you were in the show.
I saw you.
So we kind of did meet again.
Sort of, but you didn't know I existed, so. But, now we actually had a proper chat.
We do.
And, I'm a big believer that everything happens for a reason, so it's
you
good
go.
that you're
I
here
am
today.
too.
Yeah, it's
Very
good.
nice.
Fantastic. Now, your new book, Anything is Possible,
And my first book.
yes, is finally out.
It is
In
exciting.
all bookstores, and you can definitely tell I've
I was gonna,
read it all with all my tabs.
I love the tabs.
Yes, it's dedication. And I must say,
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it.
Oh,
I'm actually going to
good.
read it again. That's how much I loved it. And I'm
Good.
going to do a book review too, but I can't think of any negatives, so it may have to be a 9 or 10 out of 10. I'd say 10 out of 10.
There you go.
I know this is a big statement, and for everyone listening, this is the best memoir or autobiography or whatever you want to call it that I've ever read. And I must say, for someone that started out, having difficulty reading at the beginning, you're an amazing writer.
Well, I had help writing it. I had a writer with me.
Just take the credit.
I'm going to be honest. So Hazel Flynn spent almost, it's been 2 years in the making.
Wow.
And she travelled with me. She saw my shows live. She came to my magic land where I built all my magic and put it all together. She basically, I'm not going to say she lived with me, but she got to know me intimately.
Really well, yeah.
And she's a brilliant writer. She's done a lot of sports people and politicians, and I needed someone who could really understand me, who could work with me. And I don't profess to be writing an autobiography is a very particular style, and it's so I needed someone who could do it well. And maybe to some degree I could have written a book that would have been like 100 rewrites. So we could have gone down that route.
Yep.
We could
Then it
do
would have
that.
taken longer.
It would have taken a lot
4
longer,
years.
but I think it's worked out really well, and it was like doing therapy.
So you just chat to her and then she'd write it down?
Yeah,
Is that
a bit
how it
more than
works?
that, because we go through all my archives, we pull out all my photos, we go through all my brochures, I tell her how I feel. I mean, and I've got lots of other bits and pieces written down of, the ideas I had and things that happened along the way and journey and all the places I performed. So all bits and pieces that I, basically, we did a whole map of my life. And we jotted down, which took a long time, and
Yes.
I jotted down basically absolutely everything that happened to me and how I was feeling. That formed what we called the roadmap for the actual book.
And then it went
so it
from
wasn't
there.
just kind of like, hey, let's sit down and have a chat and see what we come up with.
Let me start right at the beginning
Yeah,
when I was born.
no, it was all kind of documented and which made the process a lot easier.
Well, you would never have known. Something I love about the book is it kind of feels like you're talking to me when I'm reading it.
Because the tone is right.
Yeah.
And because when you talk to me, if you know me and you hear the way I speak, it's got to represent that, and it does, because it is me talking.
Yeah, of course it is. It's your name on the book and it's your life.
That's right.
It has to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I must say, you've been through so much in your life, and I already saw you as an inspiration, but it's even grander now.
Oh, great.
And this show is, since you haven't been on it before, is a very positive show and all about, working hard for your dreams and never giving up. And I must say, from reading that book, I was like, he's definitely the perfect guest to have on the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's great to finally have you on here. And most people know you from Australia's Got Talent, obviously. But before that, and you do mention this in your book, you were working really hard for about 10 years in the industry. And Australia's Got Talent called you up 3 times before you said yes.
Yeah.
Do you regret not saying yes earlier?
No, not at all. It's what I call the grind. So I would go in and do school incursions, and to give you a bit of detail, I would do an hour setup with my brother, 50-minute show, an hour pack up, drive to the next school, sometimes an hour, sometimes 2 hours, do another hour setup, 50-minute show, hour pack up, drive to the next town. I would do 10 shows a week for 10 years. I would do shopping centers. I would do cruise ships. I would do theatre shows, a 90-minute show. I traveled across the Nullarbor twice.
Whoa.
Driving myself. With my crew, with my equipment, I learned how to be a businessman, how to manage people, how to put a show together. How do you put a poster together? How do you put a flyer together? How do you put a TV ad together? How do you talk on radio? How do you do all these things? Well, I was, it was, swim or sink, that type of scenario. I was thrown into the deep end, and people had no, it fascinates me actually. So you see me on Australia's Got Talent, and I'm just wondering what the audience was thinking. Oh, there's a guy hanging upside down, jumping in water tanks. He must have learned that last week. Like, how is that even
Last
remote?
week.
Yeah, how's that possible? But there's so much that goes into it, and it took so long to get here. And that's why, once again, when I was on Australia's Got Talent, you heard me say dramatic things like, well, if you're not willing to have a spot on the stage, don't come here. And people are like, oh, geez, that's very dramatic. Wow, he knows how to work the camera. But that was the truth.
Yeah, you're just being honest.
I was being honest. Like, I was willing to die for a spot. I wasn't a kid who was 14 and was singing in their bedroom, which is great. That's all good. You can do that. I was a guy who made this my career. My brother had invested in it. He made it his career. My parents were backing it. It wasn't like, oh, I hope it goes well, or I hope I get famous. So I said no 3 times because I thought that it could all come crumbling down. If the judges didn't like me, if maybe didn't, I knew it would resonate with the Australian people because I was putting bums in seats.
Yeah.
People don't buy tickets if they don't like what you're doing. But there's always that doubt. Like, how about if they say something that's a bit, doesn't gel right? So there was that fear. So that's why I kept saying no.
It's sad that you had to go through that, and I think also because you had so many hardships before that. Is that also a contributing factor?
Yeah, and you put so much time and effort into something, and then you've worked so hard, so many knockbacks. No, you're not good enough. No, this is not going to happen. And then, you're going to go out into the public and let them judge you after you've done all that hard work and invested all that time and all that money? I wasn't comfortable with that at all. Once again, if I was 14, I wasn't that confident at 14. But if I was 14 again and I had that confidence, maybe I'd go on Australia's Got Talent, because it's kind of like, here or there. Well, if I get lucky, I get lucky. If people like me, they like me. I didn't have that attitude. In actual fact, I don't understand. I remember being in the audition and sitting in a room, and there was one gentleman who was a comedian. I can't even remember his name, but he came up to me and he said, oh yeah, you did a great act, but have you seen all these pretty girls in here? And he started chatting to all the girls in the room. And I was thinking, dude, that's the last thing on my mind about chatting to girls. Fine, that's good for him, but he saw other perks in it. I didn't. It was do or die. And I know it sounds dramatic, but that's what it was. And that's why I'm still here.
You're still like that to this day, aren't you?
100%. I'm still looking for that.
You are still risking your life.
Correct. And I'm still looking for that validation. It is about that validation. It's about, and performers don't like to admit this. It's about applauding. I want you to like me. I want you to love me. I want you to love me. I want you to love what I do. And I want you to I want everyone to enjoy it as much as I do. And it's a impossible dream. But, if we can convert as many people as possible, then anything's possible.
Yeah, for trying to get you on the show for 3 years. Obviously, some validation is there. Hopefully,
can happen.
Yeah, exactly. Anything is possible.
That's right.
I love that title.
It's fitting,
book
right?
title. Yeah. Did you come up with that at the end of writing it?
Halfway through. Yeah, and we were juggling around with names and what could I call it, and so I think
it's meant to be.
Yeah.
And you've had your family support from day one, which is amazing. Like, I must say, from reading the book, I was thinking we have a lot in common.
Your family's really supportive of you.
Yes, from day one as well. And just all the hard work you've been through, and, this whole Rave It Up thing is my creation and not giving up on it. And I was like, oh, we're going to have a great chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've had your family's support from day one, and it's been like, it still is a family affair, isn't it?
100%. Yeah, my brother's still with me. Middle brother, my older brother John, when we do the big stunts, he's involved as an engineer. My father's a structural engineer. My mum, she's my biggest critic. So, she, and my nonna.
And worries so much.
Yeah, she's still, everyone's entrenched. Like, whenever I'm on a TV show, this morning, everyone's messaging me, oh, good job. I mean, I've been on TV so many times, but they still message me. That sounds very conceited, doesn't it? I'm always on TV. I'm always appearing on TV. So they still message me.
We know you're still humble, it's okay.
And so, yeah, it's and you know what? This book is really special because it documents my story, and, it says in the front, it's for my family, because it is. And I want them to be so proud.
I'm sure they are.
I hope so.
Have they said that yet?
They have. But, there's always that
Yeah, still trying to
Correct.
prove yourself sort of thing. It's great that they believed in you for so long. But with
I'm very blessed.
But with your parents, though, especially for working on, becoming as successful as you are for like 10 years before you went on Australia's Got Talent, did they ever, want you to have like a plan B for your life or?
100%.
Yeah? Because
my
mostly
father,
parents do, right?
100%. My father would say to me, if you spent, and he meant this in a positive way, so that I just got to explain. He would say to me, if you'd finished your degree, I was doing a Bachelor of Business, majoring in marketing, he said if you'd continued that and worked only half as hard as you are now, you would be so successful.
But
and I know what he was saying.
field, though.
But in that field. And I didn't want to do that. And he understood that. But he was making a point. And his point is valid, which is you don't even need to work as hard to be successful in something else. He really meant that. And it's true, because entertainment is so difficult. It's so fickle. It's so cutthroat. But with that being said, I chose the path, and they've supported me. And
Good.
I'm really lucky.
The hard work has paid off. And that's what makes you different from other people. Not many people give up in the entertainment industry because they know it's too hard.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Once again, there's that quote in the book. I talk about my cousin Andrew saying, I remember talking to him, and he could tell that there was something wrong. This is just before Australia's Got Talent. And he said to me, you know what? It's like when someone's climbing the mountain, it's really hard, and they're thirsty, and they're slowly climbing up, and they've spent all this time climbing, and they're looking behind, oh my gosh, it's a long way, and they're climbing, and eventually they're about to be at the very top of the mountain, and they go, I can't do it anymore.
They're so close.
And they turn around and go back. And he told me that story, and I didn't want to be that guy that turns around when you're just at the top. The hard thing is knowing where's the top.
Exactly. Where are you happy with, the success?
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't turn around. I just kept going. And here we are.
Yeah,
and I'm still going.
Exactly. Here you are now on Rave It Up. And when you were, first training for like your underwater escapes, you got tied to a chair and you got your brothers to push you in the pool. I laughed at that when I read that. I was like, really?
Disclaimer, kids, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
I have two older brothers. And they were more than happy to rope me up,
of course,
push me in the pool. And you know what? When I think about it now, I've got 6 nephews and nieces. It's really crazy because I can imagine one of them being strapped to a chair and it would freak out. But that's what we did.
Where were your parents during this? Did they know you were doing this?
I would run around the house eating fire.
That was what I was about to bring up as well. They were okay with that.
Yeah, and I would say, Mum, it's for artistic purposes, and I would get away with it. And you know what? Magic gave me room to grow and develop, and it just gave me space to be artistic.
Yeah, but at such a young age, they're okay with you risking your life already.
Well, the firing is not really. Well, being pushed in the pool, they didn't know about.
Definitely.
That is risky and dangerous. But you know what? We were free spirited and we were just kids. But it all had its place in escapology.
In the history now of Cosentino, and it's all in the book. Now, you are definitely like the underwater escapes. You're definitely known for these really difficult escapes and really pushing yourself. Have you ever been scared that you couldn't do one of these escapes or illusions, or really risking your life?
I did the underwater escape on Australia's Got Talent called Water Trap, and I did what happened was a shallow water blackout. I got dizzy, I blacked out, fell back into the water. The problem with the shallow water blackout, and we talk about it again in the book, is the fact that if you black out and you're underwater, you start to breathe, and of course you're breathing water. Not good. That happened during the rehearsals for Australia's Got Talent, which was quite scary because all of a sudden I realised, hey, hang on, there is a cutoff point. There is a point
that you didn't know about.
Correct. So there was a psychological game now I had to get over. And the other time that's been quite scary was when I ruptured my eardrum underwater in a stunt called Dropped. I was 10 meters deep under the water in a Perspex bubble, handcuff chain locked, dropped down, my ear exploded. Oh my gosh, the excruciating pain.
I just went to YouTube and I was like,
it was crazy. Now, the thing about these stunts, people watch them and sometimes people are very cynical and they kind of go, oh, well, is it really? Yes, 10 meters deep is real. Deep. And when you're holding your breath for 2.5 minutes at 10 meters, automatically it's a 5-minute breath hold because your lung capacity is reduced. The deeper you go, the harder it is, and you're locked up, you're chained. And so when I blew my eardrum, I was disorientated. I couldn't even understand what was going on. I couldn't see properly. My vision was distorted. And that's when that was probably the time when I was thinking, okay, this is really this is I'm really out of my depth here.
Yeah.
And I was by myself, so no one could really
worse.
see me. And I'm isolated and alone, so that was the scariest moment. I went back and I redid the stunt.
Yes. Congratulations.
Stupidly live, thank you, but live. So I was like, I'm going to do it again, and this time I'll do it live. It's not even a pre-record. So I just made the whole thing a lot worse. But I was prepped. And I knew the limits.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. It's about knowing those limits.
So you don't have any more of, you're not afraid of any more now that you new illusions or escapes that you come up with?
No, not at the moment, but there'll be more that I come up with. And it's it's the unknown. See, when I ruptured my eardrum, I go, okay, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like to be like that underwater.
Because I wanted to experience
now
my
I know
eardrum
that.
rupture.
I know what it feels like to black out and be underwater. Okay, I get that. You kind of understand it at that particular point. It's the fear of the unknown that is scary.
You've done so many, I don't know why, but one has come into my mind particularly.
Which one are
I
you
think
thinking?
it was Australia's Got Talent when you came back for a finale, when you'd already finished the show, all that. The one when you're in the chair, in the straitjacket, with the chain.
Smashed.
That's it, thank you.
Yeah.
How do you...
With an axe above
Yes.
me. Yeah, that was one of my latest
Whole time
creations.
I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, that was new. That was developed just for them. Real axe went straight through the watermelon. Yeah, it was pretty cool, right? Because
It was pretty
had
cool, but the
chains,
whole
it had
time
a
I'm like-
straitjacket, had an axe dangling above me.
Because I'm like, how
And
are
it was
you
a
going to
close
do that
call.
in 2 minutes? Because I've noticed from a few videos now that it takes you about a minute to get out of a straitjacket. I'm
Yeah.
like, but you still got to pick the locks
Yeah.
and get out.
Yeah, correct.
I have respect for you.
Thank you.
But,
And
you
we
know-
trained it. We get it down. There's a point where if you do it, you don't want to do it too quickly. Otherwise, there's not a performance in it. But then on the flip side, you want to get out, like underwater, you want to get out quickly.
Yeah.
You don't want to hold your breath for 10 minutes.
No,
So
nobody
the quicker
does.
you get out, the better. But of course, the quicker you go, the more oxygen you burn through, and the harder it is. So there's this kind of catch-22.
Yeah, but those sort of escapes, like Smashed and even, what was I've totally forgotten the other one.
Stabbed?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
I
the
think
knives. Because I was thinking...
that only went wrong, I think, just before I saw you live. So you did that behind the scenes
I
video.
still got the scar. Can you see
That's
here?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right there, 12 stitches.
Vaguely.
So that went wrong during rehearsal. And,
you
okay,
still
there's a
did
funny
it
story. because when I did that, and you would have read this, when I did it, people, the TV company takes it for granted. Like, oh yeah, there's 18 kitchen knives. Some people probably think, oh yeah, whatever, they're fake.
Yeah, they're fake.
So, I get cut. And then all of a sudden I hear like people going, oh, you got cut. And you hear people like, oh, they're real nice.
real?
Yeah, real nice. Oh, he's got to go to emergency. And then, you see all the stitching. And so that just kind of puts everyone back in check, including myself. Hey, man, this is real. Don't take it for granted. They're real knives. And the timing is,
Critical.
critical.
Otherwise, you're dead.
Yeah, and I thought of stabbed because, no one wants to get their face stabbed by knives.
No.
And that was
of course
what I'm
not.
trying to think of the most dangerous situation or horrific thing someone could picture.
Yeah, especially when you've got like the watermelon to show that they all just will come down and that could be your head.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't think about it like that though. We just
do.
We just do it. That's a good
That
thing.
could
though.
be your head. It's good that you don't think like that because that could really get to your head, I
Yeah,
think.
exactly.
Yeah. And I'd love to know, because you've done magic for so long now, when watching... Something that we love about magic is obviously, as you put in the book, like that childlike wonder, it's...
Sense of
Yeah,
astonishment.
you're always like, oh my God, how did they do that? Obviously, doing it yourself, you know a lot of the tricks and stuff, but watching other magicians or illusionists now, is there anything that even you've watched, you're like, I have no idea how they did that?
It's very rare.
Does anything surprise you anymore?
No, it's rare, and I don't say that in a way like, hey, I know everything. No, I want to be surprised. I
Yeah.
want to go, wow, how'd you do it? I would love that feeling. But there's 7 fundamentals in magic and 7 kind of rules, and I know the rules. What's really worthy of success is the presentation, how you wrap it in a story or mystery, how you entertain people. Because we have a saying, anyone can do a trick, but very few people can do magic. Because it's true, because when you watch the live show, you kind of diffuse the trick and you try to turn it into a story. You try to entertain people. Otherwise, it becomes like, hey, watch me solve a Rubik's Cube. Hey, watch me solve another Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, it's just one
Watch
after
me
the
put
other.
a puzzle together.
Yeah, it's not a show.
Yeah, it's not a show, exactly.
So, good job. It's sad that you don't get that childlike wonder that we
No,
get, though, anymore.
but I get impressed by people's presentation, their twist on things.
You kind of pick up on that.
Yeah, how they take things in a different, down a different path. Yeah.
Well, that's good. So you're taking different things from it.
Yeah, even when I watch like a musical, I see it in a different light to probably a lay audience. I'm looking at the lighting, I'm looking at the costumes, I'm looking at the...
You're like me.
Yeah, and I go, oh, that's good. Oh, good job there. Well done.
Yeah.
So I never actually come out of a show, even a bad show, and go, oh, that was horrible. Because I'm always going, but they did
Think
this
of
good.
this, yeah.
I'm very sensitive to people's... I don't like to be too critical. I'm actually not that bad. I'm actually really not a critic. I'm a bit, oh, well, no, let me explain. They probably, they had a bad... He had a bad night.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing.
So maybe you could not be a reviewer.
No, not at all. I'm too nice.
Yeah, you'd never do any low scores.
No, not at all.
Because even if it was a bad show, you'd be like, no, they did really well. And
correct, because I'm always looking for the positive in the show.
Yeah.
And
Good.
you can always learn something from even a bad show. Actually, like, you learn more from a bad show.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's in your face. You go, ooh, don't do that.
It again. Yeah. It's good. We need to find the positives in everything in life, don't we?
We do.
To keep it a happy life, as cheesy as that sounds.
That's true.
Now, around the first half of your book, you do talk about, your dream to take your act over to America. But you mentioned that you'd love to have it on Broadway. How come? Is that still a dream of yours, or?
Because it's a good. It's a good question.
Because most people have or want their act in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That's like their place.
To me, Las Vegas is a bit. It's a bit too glitzy. I'm not going to use the word cheesy, but it's a bit. It's a very people coming in transient. It's too glitzy. Whereas Broadway is very sophisticated. The best performers are in Broadway. The best shows are in Broadway. Longest running show on Broadway. All that kind of stuff. Then you'll get the prestige. And for me, it's all about that respect for the craft. So if you're on Broadway, then you're up with Wicked, you're up with Lion King, you're up with the best of the best.
Big competition there.
It's a big. That's right.
Yeah.
So you've got to dream big. And
But you're different because you do the
Broadway
magic
for
and
me,
illusions.
is the end game.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And especially when you incorporate like a lot of dance into it. It's great.
It changes it up. It makes it more theatrical.
That suits Broadway, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
Definitely. So good luck. I really hope you get there. It'd be
Thank you.
great. Now, something else we'd love to talk about. You've performed for so many years, and I'd say your self-esteem is obviously higher now, but when you were a kid it wasn't. You were very shy, and you've written this in your book. Do you ever still become that little Cosentino where you're a little bit shy, nervous, scared on stage or in front of the camera?
All the time.
All the time? How do you conquer that?
Before every show, we've just done the shows this morning, I'm always nervous. I don't think I've ever done a show I've walked in like, hey, I've got this.
I got this.
It's not like that. It's there's so many things that can go wrong. When I'm doing an escape, usually it's the first time, like if it's a TV first. I get shy in... okay, I would prefer to perform for 3,000 people where the lights are dark and I can't see anyone, and I do my show
helps.
and you're on my time and you're in my theatre, as opposed to doing one-on-one. Because one-on-one I can really see what's going on and I can see your reaction, and I'm still... like if people say to me, I got asked this question earlier today, someone said, oh, do you just run around like doing tricks for everyone? No, I don't, because I don't like that. I mean, I do it if people want to see it, and you may want to see something later on.
Yes.
But it's not, I feel like a bit of a show off, if that makes sense.
Yeah, if you just went out with friends and you're like, check this out.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's kind of like, imagine if you're a comedian and people are like, oh, can you always be funny?
Joke, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, can you imagine trying to be on all the time? So I am, and I'm shy in that way. It's not a selfish thing like, no, hey, I'm not doing it because this is what I do for a job. It's just, I feel a bit showy. And it's okay to be showy on the stage.
Yeah, completely understand what you mean there.
Yeah, so I still think I'm not very good in crowds.
Really?
Like, no, terrible. Like if I go to a shopping centre or something like that, it's bad. I get like anxiety.
People
recognize people recognize
Yeah.
and they come up, and I get really like, I get a bit weirded out. It's
Yeah,
fine.
'cause
I'm not
you're
saying
like,
people
I'm a
don't come
normal
up,
person.
so that's
Yeah.
fine. But I'm it's just I'm not comfortable.
Is it because in your head you're like, I'm a normal person, people are recognizing me, they wouldn't have done this,
Yeah.
15 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. And it's altered a lot actually. So but I definitely think I'm still that you know what? I'm actually, in some degrees, even more shy
Really?
because of what we just
All
spoke
that
about.
stuff, yeah. So when you are in front of, thousands and thousands of people, but you invite, a couple of people on stage or whatever for close-up magic, is that scary for you?
More so, a little
Yeah.
bit more so. I don't know what it is. And you know what? I have tried so hard in my own head to convince myself that, well, what's the difference between doing a stage show and doing, like, let's say, a close-up show? Well, shouldn't it be harder? I can't wrap my head around it. Why I find it, I don't know what it is. Maybe I've been doing it for so long, and I know I'm putting on my show shoes and my show pants and my show hat. If I'm doing a show, I'm on show, and maybe I'm just conditioned to that.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
like you put in the book, kind of like a mask to
correct.
hide behind.
And I think that's what it is. It's exactly that. It's where I get to be me, but like a heightened version of me.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm not running
instead
around every day hanging upside down.
Yeah, exactly.
Every second day.
That would be a bit weird, but yeah. Yeah, instead you're Cosentino instead of Paul Cosentino.
Correct.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
good. And I must say, like, I've had one guest on before, and they said, when we were talking about this sort of topic, that if he wasn't scared or didn't have nerves, once that goes away, that's when you start not to care about it anymore.
And I agree with that, because
So maybe think about that next time you're scared.
Yeah, you're nervous because you want to do a good job.
Yeah.
You don't want to die, and
That's true.
so I agree with that comment.
Yeah. Something to think about next time you're little. Oh yes, I care about it. That's what matters.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And something that I find really interesting, and I guess a bit frustrating, is that before Australia's Got Talent, you were approaching heaps of management companies.
You found that frustrating.
Yeah, I was like,
I like that. Sorry, keep going.
because, you'd approach people, and then they'd be like, "Oh, sorry, we don't know what to do with you. You're not a singer. You're not an actor. You don't fit the mold." And then after Australia's Got Talent, everybody wants you. Like, I can feel your frustration there.
Yeah. Now.
What's your opinion on that? Do you find that positive or negative?
Yeah, you spend your whole life being told, hey, be different, be unique, and then you're doing that, right? And you're trying to get some people to notice you, you're trying to get into the right circles, and everyone is saying, great stuff, just we don't know what to do with you. They didn't
and then they find a way.
They didn't want to do anything. They didn't want difference. People want success when I happen to create it through, and it was created through the Australian people. Let's remember that. It wasn't created because someone opened the door and said, here you go, have your own TV show. It was created because people actually paid money and voted for me to get through. No one wanted me to get through, except for the people.
Yeah.
So the people spoke, and the gatekeepers had to open the gate. And now all of a sudden they're like, hang on a second, okay, I guess if the people have spoken, that's the benefit of doing a reality TV show. If you can connect with an audience and they speak, then you can and you resonate, then you can push through. So I was constantly hitting my head at a brick wall. And you know what's funny? The same people that said no came back later and said yes.
Isn't that interesting?
So do you know what it's about? It's frustrating and it's disappointing, because we get told in the industry so often, oh, you've got to be different, you've got to be unique, look for, the purple cow, whatever no one's looking for the purple cow. And that's, I'm being really honest.
Well, I think you were being unique anyway, because you were trying to be the first Australian magician.
I just wanted to do my own thing. So for anyone who's in entertainment or whatever, it's you've got to find a way to showcase yourself, because it's very hard to get leverage or have people see exactly what you are, who you are. It's just hard to push it through. So you've got to find leverage somehow. It's difficult.
Well, my hat really goes off to you, even though I'm not wearing one. But but that's great, because I think you've really started something new. Because there wasn't any Australian magicians before you, not that we know of.
Commercially, there were none that. And I tell a story. I'm not saying this to be conceited. So, you know what? It's like being a singer in Australia, and having a certain genre of singing, I don't know, let's just choose country, and saying you're the first country artist, Keith Urban, let's say, to have a song on the radio. And I was the first Australian magician to have a magic show on TV. It's silly. It's ridiculous. It's like, what? I'm not proud of it, because if someone had done it before me, it would have made my life easier, because I would have gone, oh, that's what you do, or that's what you don't do. Like I talked about earlier, that would be the path to follow. There wasn't a path. We literally had to lay every single brick and go, is that a good one? Yep. Oh, foundation's good there. Okay, next brick. It was very difficult. It still is difficult. So going back to the analogy of the singer, it was so hard to break that mold, and that was my opening kind of speech or monologue when I was on Australia's Got Talent. It was, we have famous Australian actors and singers. Why not a magician? That needs to change, and it's changing.
And you incorporated not just magic, but illusions and escapes, and
Dance.
I think that's what's been the unique part about it.
Yeah, it's made it different. And earlier in my career, once again, you would have read. They told me not to dance. They told me not to move.
I can't
They told me
imagine
not
you're
to have
acting
long
without
hair.
dancing now.
Well, this is what it's weird, right?
Yeah.
So it's
It's good that you stuck with your guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think when I was reading it, that's something that really resonated with me, that you were creating your own path, because that's exactly what I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That you kind of have to, there is no path to follow. You've had to create your own, and as you said, building blocks and see, oh yeah, that's a strong foundation. Now we'll keep going.
Correct. And it's not easy. You talk about it, people kind of hear it, but they don't really listen. Like they're not really. I don't think people, until you've done it and you've walked in that path, that you really understand. Well, that's difficult to do.
Yeah.
There was no conglomerate behind me that I could go, oh well, if I sing like this or do that, someone will pick me up and sign me to a label or something like that. Didn't exist. I mean, I think it might have been in the book. We might have taken it out. There was an article written about me where they said, Cosentino would go on to do absolutely nothing because there was no foundation. This was after Straightjacket Talent. There was no foundation, and that journalist was correct. And what I mean by they were correct is there was no foundation. But they didn't realize that we were going to do what we did and diversify and connect and resonate and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
In their face. Look at you now. Yeah. And in your book, you do mention that some days you find it hard to stay positive and keep, you just keep going. Is that something you still have?
Yeah, because you're self-motivated.
Yeah.
I really love the creative process. Like when we're putting a new show together, a new TV show, a new live show, I love creating new things, and that's when I'm at my element. And so that's when I'm really super positive, and I'm juiced up, or I'm doing shows or new things, creating new things. It's when I'm bashing my head against a wall and trying to get something over the line. I'm thinking, oh, come on, guys. That's when it's hard to stay motivated and keep everyone else motivated. Because, you still get knockbacks.
Yeah.
No one just opens the doors and says, oh, yeah, come in. Free for all. Take whatever you want.
If only, right?
Yeah, if only. It doesn't work like that. So that's when it's hard to stay motivated and positive, when once again, you're trying to change perception.
And since the entertainment industry is so brutal, but it also can be amazing, of course. Have you had any issues with haters of what you do and bullying online? Because online's becoming huge now.
Yes. I talk about doing my underwater escape. I keep referencing back to AGT, but even in my own TV shows. And people online would write things, we didn't like his hair, we didn't like this. Look, not everyone's going to like vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? I don't like vanilla ice cream, so there you go. My point is, it's not going to be for everyone, and I understand that. What I don't understand is why people bother to write about it. Like, it's weird to me.
They would never say it to your face.
They would never say, you're correct. And I remember being on Australia's Got Talent, and they were just trashing me. He did this, and he was breathing underwater, and all these things that were wrong, and I made the mistake of reading the online comments. And I stayed up all night, and I read them all, and it was hate after hate after hate. And I vowed to myself that I would never read a YouTube comment or really Instagram or Facebook or anything like that comment again, because I let them get the better of me. And you know what? That effect, that escape was so good. It went all around the world. It's been seen by so many people. Everyone still talks to me about that particular water trap escape, that I thought it was bad at the time because I let the hate get to me. And that's my wrong, that I let people pull me down. I don't read anything anymore. Unless you're throwing fruit at me and I'm walking down the street, I don't hear it.
Please don't throw fruit at him.
But my point is, don't read the comments. Because most people, when the comment's good, no one bothers to go, oh, that person was awesome. They don't. Some people, but not really. It's more the negative. And I've also found when I'm on TV, the more negative the comment, the better the show.
Oh, I love that.
And we can track it. So if there's more negativity and more hate, we know that we've done a really good job. So for everyone out there who does their own thing, whatever it is, don't read them.
Yeah.
Don't even waste your time.
And as you did mention, like at the beginning stages, people were judging you for your appearance.
100%. So
seriously?
I don't even. I don't even bother anymore.
Yeah.
I will not check anything on. I don't check it. Honestly, and I know it sounds like I'm talking. I don't read the comments. I will not read any YouTube comments
Because it gets to you too much.
I just won't read them.
Words do hurt.
Yeah.
So that's a good advice for all the listeners.
Don't worry about it.
And you do have a dedicated space, or a permanent base called Magic Land.
Yes.
Which really sounds awesome.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that?
Okay, so that's 800 square foot facility where we store our illusions. We rehearse them. We've got a theatre set up there, proper lighting, proper sound, stage. We build, manufacture, fabricate illusions there. And it's where our offices are. We have, well, what do we have in there? We have a little flying fox and a rock climbing wall,
fun.
a secret bookshelf, a fireman's pole. We have pool tables and video games. And
What's your favourite part?
it's what's my favorite part? Probably the bookshelf.
Oh, okay.
No one knows. Like
Not the flying fox.
No,
or
the bookshelf, because no one knows it's there, and we've got a great bookshelf, and you swing it open and it brings you down another passage. But it was created to it was created on purpose to kind of magnify that creative space. I believe that's really important. And once again, when you're running your own business and you're trying to motivate yourself, you need a really positive space,
Absolutely.
positive energy. It's really important. I always dreamt of having all that.
And it keeps you grounded because you're remembering all the things you've done.
Correct.
All the
We have
stuff
our,
stored there.
yeah, correct. And we have our memorabilia up there, so we can, this is where we've come and this is where we're going, and it's something I'm very proud of.
That's in Melbourne, isn't it?
It is
I'm
definitely.
definitely gonna have to come to Melbourne,
You have to-
and you can
you-
show
you
me
have to
because
check
this
it out.
sounds amazing.
Magic Land.
Yes, we videotape it. We've got to give people a glimpse of this
Yeah,
on Rave It
a
Up.
glimpse.
Yeah, just not much.
Secret location.
I'll see more. Yeah, even though you've already achieved so much in your career, Cosentino, what else can we expect from you in the future? Obviously,
Wow.
you've got the book, but
I've got the book.
what else?
I don't know. What else can I talk about? I'm looking over at.
What else is he allowed to say?
Well, we've got a lot of things on the cards. Look, I'll tell you this. I will set it up for you. We work a year minimum to 2 years in advance. Wow. So I already know
Advance.
what I'm
great.
promoting. I know, like, for example, September next year, I'm on tour. It takes a year to coordinate
keep a
the
lookout
tour.
for that.
National tour, then it will go around the world again, or Southeast Asia. So I start working on the tour. Comes out in September. We'll tour that. We're working on some new books.
Ooh,
Yep.
yay!
So I'll quickly brief tell you. So there's some new books that I'm working on. First one comes out next year. We've got a new deck of playing cards coming out with Queen Slipper. They're an Australian brand they're the number one Australian brand of playing cards. We've coordinated together to create a special deck that allows you to perform tricks, and I have tutorials online. We have new magic product coming out. I have magic kits.
Yep.
The first ones are adding Target, so we have some more products coming out. But in a couple of weeks, I'm actually going to, not a couple of weeks, a couple of months, Indonesia.
Ooh,
For another tour. We ended up filming a Jackie Chan film.
I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah, so that comes out 2018.
Ooh.
So I got a part
still
in
a
that film,
couple
which
more
is great. I
years.
got to teach Jackie Chan how to fight using magic. Things appearing, disappearing, which was pretty cool. So they're the things that I can talk about because they're happening, they're locked in, and they've got dates set.
I think that's all we need because we're
That's
very
it. But
excited
there is
for that.
more coming. Believe me, we are planning.
You're so busy.
So many
I don't
projects
know how you have
ahead.
time. It's crazy.
No, we find there's always.
Do you have time to sleep or eat or
I don't eat
you've
much.
been up
I don't eat
since
much.
early
I
hours
don't
of
eat,
the morning
I
this
don't eat
week?
enough. Yeah, I sleep. I do. I love sleep.
Yeah,
So I
you
do
just
sleep.
need more of it, don't you?
I need more of it. I
Yeah.
do. I do.
And something that I was really excited about was a few years ago. You were, you met Criss Angel over
Correct.
in Las Vegas.
2014.
Yeah, what's happened to that? Can we still expect a collaboration there? I was so excited. You guys are my favorite magicians. I was like,
Okay,
yes,
yeah,
they're teaming up.
yeah. Well, I went over there and I helped come up with material for his show. He's got a new show out. He had a new TV show out and a new live show. So we did that with him. But I was supposed to be on tour with him with some of the best magicians in the world. But I ended up. It was an 18-month contract. I ended up touring myself, and I ended up going all through Southeast Asia. So that was kind of the option I wanted to take instead. So you never know. We might get
Maybe
back
in the
together.
future?
We might collab again. You don't know. So
You guys still chat and keep in contact?
we do WhatsApp.
Good. Oh, yeah. Gotta love that.
So yeah, on the WhatsApp. So he's a good guy and got a great show, great TV show, great live show. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, I hope so. That'll be very
You never know.
exciting.
You never know.
Yeah, well, awesome. And before we go, what advice would you give to the listeners who might want to follow in your footsteps, become a magician, or just get in the entertainment industry?
Yes, I would say be as passionate as you possibly can. Really love what you do because it's hard work. There's a lot of knockbacks. Doors get slammed in your face. You got to love it. You got to love it enough. You don't just do it because, hey, I want people to know me. I want to be famous or whatever. That's never going to fly, and that's going to fall short very, very quickly. You really need to love what you do and get a kick out of it, a buzz out of it. Be yourself, be unique. Of course, be inspired by other people. I was inspired by Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire, Michael Jackson, Criss Angel. I was inspired by so many David Copperfield. But then you got to find your own little little thing, and just I just think it's a lot of hard work. You've got to be willing to work hard and be passionate. Just live with passion, and because it comes across, and we talk about that in the book.
It does come across. Just you going.
And it's true on stage. Like, I know sometimes, and I'll be really honest with you, if I'm performing a trick and I'm not really feeling it because I've maybe put it in there because I'm trying to see where it could, like, if it's going to lead down a new path, or I might be experimenting and I'm not connecting with it, I know the audience doesn't connect, and then I might adjust a little word here or there, same trick, but because I connect with it and I tell a story and I really believe in it, it goes over the audience. It really resonates, and the audience knows. I don't know how. And if I know how, and I find out, one day I'll write a book about it.
Yeah.
But somehow the audience knows when you're telling the truth. They know when you're telling a story if it's BS. And they know if you really love what you do. They do. And I've experienced both sides when I'm kind of like, I'm kind of into it, but not really. And the audience is like not into it either. But when I'm really into something, it comes across. It does. So be passionate.
I love that. That's fantastic advice. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And we are getting to the end of the interview, unfortunately. It's gone very quickly. It's been a lot of fun.
It's gone very quick.
I know. But as a closing statement, and was probably the most important question, knowing what you know now, what would you tell your 14-year-old self who was starting out in magic?
Good question. I would say, don't worry, everything's going to be fine.
Yep.
So just breathe. Because I would worry. I'd say, am I going to be okay? Is it all going to happen for me? Am I going to make it? Am I going to, do my parents proud? Yes, it's all going to be fine. And the last thing I would say would be that, and I love this quote, I would tell myself this, I would read this quote to myself. I would say, Paul, and this is how the quote goes, sometimes I pretend to be normal, but that gets boring, so I go back to being me.
I love that. That gives me goosebumps.
You just gotta just be yourself.
It's already so beautiful. So hopefully even that 14-year-old's listen to that as well, hopefully. So. And before we go, if the listeners would like to contact you or find out what you're up to, where should they go? My website, cosentino.com.au, but all on the socials, look up The Cosentino, that's Cosentino, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all of them. All of them. It's good to be on everything these days. It is, and it's difficult to be on all of them. Yeah, you got to keep them updated all the time. You do. It's really annoying, but it's good that you're on everything. Very good. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Pleasure. Thank you for having me. Great chat. I know. Good questions. Thank you. We're definitely going to have you on again in the future. All right. Like, we play a really cool game where you kind of have to verse everybody that's ever been on the show. Oh. And it's very competitive, but a lot of fun. Everybody loves it. I just know we don't have time for that today, but come back on the show. All right. Yes. We'll do that. And for everyone listening and watching, go get Cosentino's book. Anything's possible. It's in all bookstores now, and it's incredible. I'm actually going to read it again. That's how much I loved it. I'm going to do a book review on it too. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.